Let's understand how we can install Microsoft SQL Server. We actually install SQL Server Express Edition. So let's go and say Microsoft SQL Server Express. Now it is giving you Microsoft SQL Server downloads. That's good enough. Go there. And then if you talk about SQL Server, it is giving you the options. So there you have SQL Server 2022 Express. And it is telling you get the free edition, ideal for development and production for desktop, web, and small server applications. This is free. This is a free edition. So go download now. Okay. You have to say download now and it's going to download. I already downloaded, so I don't need to download again. So here is the name of that and this is the size of it. So this is Express Edition and this is the size, just 4 MB, pretty small. Because it is like a stub. It is going to then bring the remaining things when you start installing it. Okay, after it is downloaded, that means the stub is downloaded. Now it is time to go and install the actual software. So I will start the installation. So it's asking me, do you want to proceed with this? I say yes. And it is going to show me this. So it will ask me, what do you want to do? Whether you want to install the basic version or you want to install the custom where you mention a lot of details. It's only for those who are very particular about what they want to install and what they don't. And this is download media where you install it right now and some other time you will actually install that. You don't install, you download now. Okay. So see, download SQL Server setup files now and install them later on a mission of your choice. So if you are not having internet access on the target system, download everything now and on some other day, on some other system, you can install. I go with basic. I'm just selecting basic. So it will ask me whether I want to accept it. I say yes. It is showing me where it is going to install that. And it's expecting something like a 278 MB of download size. Okay. And it is expecting minimum free space of 6604 MB. Okay. So that is okay what it is saying, minimum free space. And then this is how much it's asking for, 6 GB. That's what it is asking for. And download size is 278 MB. So if you are okay with all, just go ahead and click on install. That's it. It will proceed, it will download and it will install that. It takes a little time. Now I don't do it because I have already done it. I already have this installed in my system. But I hope you understood what steps you have to take. Just go ahead and then say install. You are installing SQL Server 2022 Express Edition. This is exactly what you are installing. Done. Once you install this, your job is done. And then what you need to do is you need one more software because you want to manage this. The SQL Server Express Edition is just like the engine. It doesn't have the tools. So you need a tool to talk to that, to interact with that. So to do that, we need to go for something called, again, if you go to downloads, so you will find something like, okay, this is exactly not SQL Server, but you will find something called SQL Server Management Studio. Okay, I go back. I say here, you have SQL Server Management Studio. If you go for tools, there, if you go for tools, you find that. Or you can directly look for that tools. SQL Server Management Studio is what we use to manage SQL Server. Okay, so go ahead and then download this. Download now. SQL Server Management Studio. That's the software we are now downloading. Okay, so it's asking me, okay, this is SQL Server Management Studio, and this is what you need to download. So we are talking about, okay, well, go back. We are just seeing what it is. We are not seeing the download part. Let me go back, go to downloads. So in the downloads, I should be seeing, or I think it is in a different place. So let's go search for that. So we say Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. So this is the one. Let's go there. SQL Server Management Studio. This is the one. And then you need to now download that here. Okay, of course, we have come to the same place, by the way. So download SQL Server Management Studio 22. Okay, go download this. I hope you all are using Windows. And if you are using a different platform, check out how you need to handle them. And download SQL Server Management Studio 22. And I already downloaded this. This is another small stub. This is the way it goes nowadays. You just install a stub, and after the stub, when you run that, the actual software will be installed. So go ahead and then install the complete software. There is not much I have to explain. You will have to just say next, next, and eventually install, because it's just a tool. It's SQL Server Management Studio. Now, what I do is, after I download and after I install that, I go and then start that. So here I say SQL Server Management Studio. This is the one. Okay, go start that. Okay, we need to start the application. So SQL Server Management Studio, here is the application. Okay, not the web page. You have to search there, SQL Server, and in the applications, you need to select that. See here, this is the one. Okay, SQL Server Management Studio in applications. So once you start SQL Server Management Studio, then it says, okay, now you connect to your database. Our database is SQL Server Express. SQL Server Express is our database system, and we want to connect it to that. So here it is telling me, tell me what is your server name. That's exactly my server name. So I say localhost / SQL Express. You don't need to give anything else. That's enough. Authentication is Windows authentication. And then you don't need to give any more details. This is good enough. Just say connect. And it is connecting. It might ask you a few questions, like a few security related things, but you just need to say go ahead, and you are connected to SQL Server Express, and this is what you are connected. If you then expand, you are going to see the databases like that. So it is showing you databases. These are all predefined databases: master, model, temp, MSDB. If you open them, you are going to see a few things like that. But these are all system tables. There is no data of our requirement in these tables. We are not interested in these databases. So you installed the database system, that is Microsoft SQL Server Express Edition. Okay. You installed Microsoft SQL Server or SQL Server Management Studio. That is this program. Okay. This is SQL Server Management Studio 22. SQL Server Management Studio, of course, 2022 there and 22 here. Now you need to connect to this from here. We did that. But in this, we have 4 databases. So each database is actually containing a set of tables. But these 4 databases are predefined databases. So we don't have any data of our interest in those databases. They all have some predefined stuff. The master database contains a lot of information. And then the MSDB, the model, these are the tables. We are not having any tables of our requirement. So what Microsoft is doing, it's giving you some sample databases. You can create those sample databases and you will be able to use the data in the sample databases. So now I go and ask for sample database. So if you go and again ask for Microsoft SQL Server sample databases, and then it is going to take you to a page, SQL sample repository. So you can go and click on that, and you're going to go to their Git repo. So we have various sample databases. We are interested in a database called pubs, which is about publishers, about books, authors, and so on. So we can go and then get those sample databases. So it is saying the database downloads are samples here. And in GitHub repository, you can go to the Git repo. I don't want you to bother about all this. You can if you want. It's not really that difficult. But I do give you this. So if you go to the samples, you find the databases. And in the databases, you find Northwind and pubs. You need to specifically look for pubs. So instead of you doing all this, I am giving you this file. This file is made available to you. So I can just download this file into your folder. Let me download that into your folder. Our folder is November in the classroom. So November 10th, I just create a new folder, or I can just put it in the data sets. That's better. In the data sets, I'm putting this. This is inst, that means install pubs.sql. That's what the file name is. Just go save it. It is saving that, which is install pubs.sql. If you see what it is the SQL commands. By running these commands, you are actually creating a new database. So you can see it is saying create a database called pubs. So the next thing for you is copy this, okay, and go to Management Studio and you start a new query. You start a new query. Already you connected to Express Edition, just start a new query and you will get a window where you can put that command or those commands. Just copy and you are pasting all the commands here. It's a very big file, 2168 lines, and all that you need to do is just copy it there and execute it. We are putting all that stuff here. From where did I copy? From here. But you don't need to go there. If you're curious and if you want to explore some other databases, you can. There is also something called Northwind, which is another popular sample database. Now, I make that available to you. It's already there in your data set folder. So you can copy from there, put it here, and just execute it. Now, when you say execute this, you are creating all that. So everything is done, and then it is now having a new database. So if you go refresh that, you see a new database there. Just refresh, okay? You see a new database called pubs. If you expand that and if you see the tables, you find some interesting tables here. This is a meaningful data provided by Microsoft so that you can use it with your applications for certain purposes. So we use it to deal with some reports. So this is how you are talking to different sources. So we got our pubs database. We are ready to use this. If you want to use here, you can just remove all that. You should say use pubs. That's how you make this the active database. You are making this active, and you can go and say select star from something like others, and you're going to see the data about others. Okay, you don't need to be any database expert, but some basic things like how to connect it to database, how to retrieve the data. Just remember, we have a couple of tables here, and these are the tables. So we will be working with some of these tables. So hope you have noted down the steps and you can redo that. So install SQL Server Express Edition, install SQL Server Management Studio, start the Management Studio, connect it to Express Edition, and the URL is pretty simple. You just need to give localhost /. So when you see the connection part, you can see that. So I can show you that by going to this. This is the connection we are talking about here. So this is exactly what you need to give. Localhost /. Please remember, it's not /, it's a /. Localhost / and SQL Express. Once you connect it to that, you need to create a database because it doesn't come with any databases that we can use, especially with a reasonable amount of data. So what I want to do is I want to create my own database. It's not exactly my own. It's sample database provided by Microsoft. I'm already making that text file available to you in your folder. So if you go to your folder, that is classroom, November 10th, data sets, there you find it. Okay, this is the name of the file. Install pubs.c. Open this. Don't double click, okay? Just open with any editor. After you open that with any editor, copy everything from that file and paste it into this. How did you open this window? Using new query. That's how you open this window. So every time you click on that, a window is created, and this is where you are dumping the entire stuff, and then execute. Just click on this execute. You got a new database created with required amount of data. This is one time process. You don't have to do it every day. And you have now a new database system in your system. That's Express Edition and also Management Studio. And now we need to access this from Power BI. Okay. Let's go. And in the Power BI, we create a new report, a blank report. And it is creating a new report, but it doesn't close the existing one. So you better go there and close it explicitly. The new one is created, and we will save the new one as a database dot, we call it as database. It goes into our folder, okay, database.pbix. Now the data is coming from SQL Server, so I select this. Click on that, then it's going to ask me what is the server name, and you know that localhost backslash SQL Express. It's asking what is the database, pubs, because there is a database called pubs. So we want that database to be accessed. It is giving me options whether it should import the data or use direct query. I will explain the difference between these two in tomorrow's discussion, because we will be talking more about model and we will understand the difference between these two options. But for now, you can go with default. So click on OK, and it is connecting to that, and then it's asking you use your Windows credentials to access it. So I say yes, use my credentials, and it is giving you two options whether you want to access Express or that particular database. Better select the database. Okay, and then connect. It's connecting you to that database. It might ask you something like that, but that's okay. Don't worry. Say okay. I'm okay with that. Now it connected, and it is bringing all those tables. It's asking, okay, I found these tables from pubs. So which ones you want me to load? I go with publishers, sales, titles, authors, and title authors. I'm bringing 5 different tables. Okay, these are the tables I want to have. Well, you can even go for stores if you want, and you can bring a lot more things. Just click on load. Everything is now loaded. Of course, you can bring more tables later if you like. To start with, I think that should be good enough. The authors, the publishers, stores, sales, titles, and title authors. Load, it's bringing the whole data. Those tables contain reasonable amount of rows, and now this is your model. Okay, so if you see, this is your model. You have titles, and then you have the stores, sales. Here is the sales, and then you have title authors, stores. See stores. Okay, so stores are related to sales. Okay, sales are related to titles. You can see one title, many sales, one to many, and then one publisher, many titles, one title, many title authors, because some titles may be written by multiple authors. That information is here. And this is about the authors. One author, many entries in title authors. So an author may have written 10 books. That means his details appear here for 10 times. Okay, and then this is the model, and it is important for you to understand the data, the relationship between the tables, how they are working, what is not. So this is the way it goes. I can just take that to that side, and this is the one. Now, so I can make this a little smaller. Let me see how I can do that. I don't need big ones. I don't need this. I can increase its size, but well, increasing the size doesn't help. We keep it small. This is what we have. So other also I can decrease the width so that everything looks little slimmer. Now this is what we have. That is our schema. This is called the schema. So we brought the data. Now you might want to generate some report straight away. So let's go to our report. I want to display the publisher and then what are the books or total number of books published by each publisher. So I can create something like again a clustered bar graph. I can put that here and I say select that. A filter is to be collapsed. And now y-axis is going to be publisher name. That's the publisher name. Now publisher is related to titles and we are going to get the title ID. We put the title ID and in the title ID we are saying count. That's exactly what we want. And now you can see this. This is what it is. So we have only 3 publishers and this is the count. We don't have too much of data. So we have some 7 books from Hardly and 6 from another publisher and then 5 from another one. So this is how you can generate a visual showing the number of books by each publisher. Similarly, you can display the number of books by each author. You might have more number of authors. So you can have something like this. You can have something on the right, which gives you how many books are there for each author. Or you can have a lot of other details depending on your requirement. So play around, okay, have a look at the data, try to understand the data because each publisher is having some books and we are just giving the count. But you can also find out what is the average price of the books by each publisher. So if you want average price, you just need to go and take this price. There is price and you just need to say you want average price. I can actually remove this. I can bring price and I can say I don't want sum, I want average. So if you go for average price, this publisher's average price is $18. This 15, this is just 9. So this is the average price of each publisher. So I want you to redo what I've done. But any chance if you are not interested in SQL Server, you already have some other database like MySQL or Oracle, you want to connect it to that and you know how to do that, go ahead, give it a try.